CBS has officially released the full unedited version of the interview they had with Kamala Harris back in October for 60 Minutes. And I'm talking about the entirety, right? As she was sitting down to get framed, all of it. It's all released to the public as a result of Donald Trump and his FCC essentially going after CBS for what Trump believes was an unfair editing that made Kamala Harris look better than she really sounded. So if you can remember, the main point of interest and the controversy in this pre-election interview was that Kamala Harris seemingly gave two separate answers in response to a question on Israel on two different broadcasts, or not in two different broadcasts, same broadcast, but that CBS intentionally edited her answer in what aired on the official 60 Minutes interview to make her sound better. So in a teaser clip that was released on Face the Nation prior to the full interview being aired, you can see the following exchange between Kamala Harris and journalist Bill Whitaker. Okay, so Whitaker asks, does the US have no sway over Prime Minister Netanyahu? Harris responds, the aid that we have given Israel allowed Israel to defend itself against 200 ballistic missiles that were just meant to attack the Israelis and the people of Israel. And when we think about the threat that Hamas, Hezbollah presents, Iran, I think that it is without any question our imperative to do what we can to allow Israel to defend itself against those kinds of attacks. Harris continued in her answer that was part of the teaser clip. Now the work that we do diplomatically with the leadership of Israel is an ongoing pursuit around making clear our principles, which include the need for humanitarian aid, the need for this war to end, the need for a deal to be done, which would release the hostages and create a ceasefire. And we're not going to stop in terms of putting that pressure on Israel and in the region, including Arab leaders. Whitaker kept pressing, saying, but it seems that Prime Minister Netanyahu is not listening. And she says, well, Bill, the work that we have done has resulted in a number of movements in that region by Israel that were very much prompted by or a result of many things, including our advocacy for what needs to happen in the region. So upon first glance, like that exchange appeared to have, been altered in the final cut of the full interview that aired for 60 Minutes. They basically cut it down significantly, right? And so what you saw if you watched the 60 Minutes interview was the following. Whitaker asks, does the US have no sway over Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu? Harris responds, the work that we do diplomatically with the leadership of Israel is an ongoing pursuit around making clear our principles. Whitaker asks again, but it seems that Prime Minister Netanyahu is not listening. And then Harris responds, we are not going to stop pursuing what is necessary for the United States to be clear about where we stand on the need for this war to end. So the argument from the Trump team was, well, her actual full answer, which was edited down, was a word salad. It made her look bad. And CBS essentially put its thumb on the scale by editing her answer down so it's more concise and more like definitive and confident. And Trump kept arguing that, this was changing the outcome of the election, even though it didn't change the outcome of the election. Trump won. And honestly, Kamala Harris's campaign was not good. He won the popular vote. So why do you keep pressing on this issue? Why are you still moving forward with this attack against CBS and using the FCC in order to do it? So there was an inquiry. The inquiry was originally dismissed. However, the case was reopened when Trump appointed Brendan Carr as FCC chair. So the transcript, in my opinion, proves that CBS didn't really do anything crazy, right? Like you have to sometimes edit a pre-recorded interview down because of time restrictions. If you're broadcasting on television, you have to cut to break. So you have to edit certain things down. But according to the New York Times, the transcript of the interview shows that Harris gave a lengthy answer to a question about Benjamin Netanyahu. About 21 seconds of that answer was aired in a preview of the interview on Face the Nation. A different 7-second part of the answer aired the next day in an episode of 60 Minutes. And so, the FCC Commissioner Brendan Carr wants to basically drag this out, drag it longer, seeking public comment on the complaint through March, stating that the people will have a chance to weigh in. But really, the big question here, Cenk, is why did CBS even comply with handing over the full transcript and the full unedited video of the interview that they had with Kamala Harris? They could have easily fought this in court and they would have won. And they're right about that. This is a very common thing that every television news organization does. Fox News does it. Sometimes if we have a pre-recorded interview that we want to use in a story that we're doing, but the answer is way too long, I'll try to find the heart of what the person is saying so we don't run out of time and we can talk about the story longer. But this isn't really about, in my opinion, CBS being fearful of losing some sort of lawsuit. I think this is really about a merger that Paramount, the parent company for CBS, wants to ensure goes through without the Trump administration standing in the way. So Sherry Redstone is the chair of CBS. CBS's parent company, Paramount. Paramount wants to merge with Skydance. And in order to merge with Skydance, you're gonna need Trump administration officials to play ball and not stand in the way of that happening. So I believe that Sherry Redstone, who's gonna make a lot of money off that merger, has an interest, a financial interest in just playing ball with Trump, giving him what he wants to ensure that that merger goes through.
Yeah, so this is gonna set a terrible precedent. I'll come back to that. On Paramount and CBS, look, I would have given the full footage and I would have given it immediately because there was something wrong with the footage. So I think that they fueled conspiracy theories more by withholding the footage. Having said that, will they cave in and pay Trump money? Very likely. And should they? No, that's a terrible precedent. I'll come back. But Anna's 100% right. This is exactly what's wrong with the threatening media companies. Because now they got a merger that they need the government's approval on. And they know Trump's the most biased person in the whole wide world. And he's not gonna tell the person in charge there, oh, you know what, you guys make any decision that you think is right for the economy and the markets. No, he's gonna tell them if they pay me money, approve their merger. If they don't bribe me, pay me money for this absolute nonsense junk, then deny their merger. So this is the president just wantonly, brazenly taking bribes from these media companies and intimidating them into positive coverage. It's disgusting. So now, did they do anything wrong? Guys, they call it, there's a lot of word games, right? They call it altered. Well, it's also edited, same thing, right? So it would be altered, which sounds worse and negative, if they did one of two things. If they said, well, you know what, we altered the meaning of it. So she said no, but they switched it to yes, right? Or they took a yes from a different portion of the interview and put it in when she actually said no. Okay, then I'm with you, terrible, et cetera. You still don't take the license away. You just have everybody not watch that junk television, right? You don't have the government threaten freedom of the press. That's not how you'd handle it. But I'd be super mad at them if they did that. But they didn't do that. Her answer that went on TV was is totally the same as the longer answer. So then the second theory is, oh, they covered up her word salad. She sounded ridiculous if you heard the same meaning, and they acknowledged that, right? But she took longer to get there. Are you kidding me? It's Kamala Harris. She has infinite word salads. Then another answer was a word salad in that interview, many different answers. I watched that interview. And then the interview before that, the interview after that, infinite word salads. They didn't do any of that. It's just Trump crying. And his crying is both personal because he really does have thin skin, and he can't take even the slightest criticism, even though he's in the public eye and he's in politics. It's amazing. And the second reason is strategic. He's just gonna bully the press, and with the power of the government, he can do that. But it's core unconstitutional action. First Amendment, freedom of speech, freedom of the press. And Republicans were supposed to be against cancel culture. They were supposed to be in favor of freedom of speech. And here they are backing Trump. Look, to what degree MAGA is backing him, I don't know. But certainly Trump is going around saying, I never meant it. I love cancel culture. Cancel CBS, cancel them. They didn't even criticize you. They ran a crappy answer of Kamala Harris in its full crappiness, right?
By the way, both answers were
terrible.
Bad.
Yeah, they were terrible.
They were
answers.
bad. They were both bad.
Yeah.
And like, in fact, the edited version I think is worse because she didn't really say anything in the edited version, right? Like the shortened version of her statement doesn't really give you any substance. And look, I think the proof is in the pudding. I mean, he swept the swing states. So the idea that CBS put their thumb on the scale to help Kamala Harris win is honestly, in my opinion, a very weak argument. But I actually think the poll among our audience on this issue is really interesting, Cenk. So can we pull that up and talk about it a little bit?
Yeah, definitely. So the poll was, do you think CBS edits were nefarious? So what do we have in terms of results?
Yeah, let's bring it up.
Yeah, 57% no, 43% yes. You think 43% thinks yes? That's the
YouTube audience. Yeah.
Okay. So we do these polls during the live show. Come check it out Monday through Friday, 6 o'clock to 8 o'clock Eastern. I'm surprised it's that high. Nefarious. It was still a crappy answer. I don't get it. I don't get it at all. To me, it's blindingly obvious. Trump is trying to get money, intimidate the press, and take away as much freedom of the press as he possibly can. And he's a government official. Core violation of the Constitution. All right, lastly for me, terrible precedent. Okay, so now can every president do this? Can every politician do this? Oh, that media outlet slightly hurt my feelings. They edited it wrong. Now we're gonna evaluate every edit of every interview, of every time a politician's involved or is criticized. No, I want them to say this and not that. Oh, my feelings are hurt. Oh, that's it, I want to sue them. The president is suing media companies to bully and intimidate them and possibly blocking their mergers to intimidate them. It's disgusting. And if you're worried about the tyranny of government, this is what tyranny looks like. And if you think, oh, it's okay, you're gonna be in charge forever, you're not. And if you hate Democrats, if you're a right winger, you think Democrats aren't going to use this? Okay, I mean, if you think they're core evil, as a lot of the right wing does, then wouldn't they love this? Oh yeah, okay. Now Fox News says something I don't like. Joe Rogan said something I don't like. Did they edit their videos? That's it, they edited it, that's it. Fox News, give me $100 million, $1 billion, or I'm gonna take your license away, I'm gonna block your mergers. That's not what we're supposed to be doing in America. It's third world tin pot dictator crap. Thanks for watching the video, guys. We also love it if you hit the join button below because that makes you a member, and members allow us to be independent, honest. We can be as progressive as we want, no corporate media influence, and that's all because of you guys. We love doing the show with our members. Hit the join button, become one of the Young Turks.